We go from a couple of Negro League legends to Cliff Floyd from the MLB Network, who had
Nice
a
to meet you, Cliff.
tremendous MLB career. Are you also doing radio too? At one point, I know.
Yeah, I was, and
Okay.
then I outgrew it.
Yeah, I kind of did the same thing.
I wish we could say the same.
Yeah,
know,
no,
right.
it was fun. Radio gives you a chance to express yourself a little bit more.
Yeah, sure.
Right, TV, you real quick.
There you go.
So,
Hey,
but I love
so
being at the network. It's awesome.
when you look here, we had Tony Olivo on earlier, obviously a great Minnesota Twins player. You look at the AL Central right now. Do you think the Twins are a team that is situated to go out and add to their roster at the trade deadline?
You have to think that way, right? What they've done this year is maybe a year too late as far as when you look at the talent they had, and you can put a lot of that on Rocco Baldelli being a guy that demands some of the things he demands as just a manager. And I've known Rocco for a long time, but when you have a shot, and what we've seen in this game is that window closes quick.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves, you might come up short. So you might want to think about a little bit more as far as adding, but you got to add the right pieces. I always talk about adding the right pieces. What's the right piece? Well, not a guy that's going to disrupt the chemistry that we've already created. Right. So that guy can't just come in because the talent's great. Just allow him to come in and disrupt what we're doing. So I think those are important factors as far as going out and getting guys at the deadline.
Are the Indians where you thought they would be at this point, given the fact that they actually tightened their belt in the offseason and didn't bring back players, traded off other players,
Brantley,
but yet they're still kind of in the thick of things?
You know what? I said this before the season started. They did sit on their hands a little bit more than I thought they would, and obviously. It's a small market, and I get those type of things. You can't rely on pitching. You got to hope that the players that you have in the outfield that's going to replace Brantley and replace some of the players show up, and they didn't early, and it hurt them, right? So Los has been terrific over there. I think you seen the real Carlos Santana. Not having Jose Ramirez to be the player he is, or we know him to be, it's probably hurt him a little bit more. Frankie was hurt, so you have some obstacles to climb, and then Kluber goes down. Then Carrasco has this situation. Hopefully everything works out with him. So a lot has happened with this team, and these 6.5 foul is a miracle for them. It should be, right? And I thought this division was over a couple months ago. I did. I really thought the Twins were going to run away with this thing, and the Indians have basically said, well, we don't believe who they are.
Yeah, Tom Verducci from SI had written something earlier saying he had not seen a drop-off like Jose Ramirez has had since, and I think he cited like Terry Pendleton back when Pendleton was a part of the Atlanta Braves.
Right.
Do you think do you have any ideas, first of all, on what you see when you see him in a batter's box? Do you see something that tells you he's not the same hitter right now?
You know what? In this game, I always say you can pinpoint the little things, because if the game is simple, and I always keep the game simple in my mind. That's the only way I can play without driving myself crazy. Is Jose Ramirez is missing his pitch. He's fouling off balls that we've seen him crush numerous times, and then when he does hit him, he hits some foul. So that plays a big part in why guys stink, right? Like I used to go to the park and go, wait a minute, okay, last year this ball right here, middle end, I used to crush and I had no problems with it. The middle way when I hit left center gap, I had no problems with it. I missed a few, but it's okay. That's part of it. You're going to fail in this game. What you're seeing from Jose right now is he's fouling off pitches, they pitching him tough, and then he's striking out, or he's popping up, or he's rolling over, and he's playing into the shift. So, and then the art of the game is, keeping it simple. But he's a switch hitter, right? So now you're working on both sides.
Right.
Now you got to go to right. You don't just get to go down there, work on the left side, and go, okay, I get this swing right. Now I got to go to the other side.
Yeah,
and get
that's
it right
a great
too.
point.
A lot is going on in my man's head, but I always say you never know who's going to struggle at the start of the year, but I really don't believe this is who he is.
Yeah.
What are the Indians going to do or going to have to do about the Francisco Lindor problem? Now, it's not a problem in 2019.
No.
But, we had Carlos Baerga sitting where you were the other day, and Carlos was like, Baerga's like,
He begged Lindor to stay.
Baerga begged him to stay.
He didn't have a reason to. He didn't have any money to offer him.
That's right.
He begged him to stay.
He begged him to stay. It's like you can't leave Cleveland. But, reality and the owner took a little heat for basically, I think, saying the truth that, hey, look, We've got him for 3 more seasons. Now it's 2.5. Let's see what happens. Enjoy it. Let's see what happens. But the reality is he's going to be a $300 to $400 million player in the current baseball market.
Yeah, well, he don't fit here then.
Right.
Call spade a spade, right? The truth is you build him up then, and if you know you can't keep him, you get a boatload back. You keep him healthy. You make sure he plays, make sure he's happy, make sure he says the right thing about the organization, and then you start filling voids on your roster, because if you're talking $300-400 million, I mean, has it ever happened here?
No.
Okay,
right.
So
no.
You're right. So as you move forward, that's where the game is at. Now the owner can dig deep and say, look, this guy is needed. He's a poster child. He does everything on the field that you want to do. There's off the field. He has a beautiful smile. All the things that you want as far as having that bona fide stud player that walk through your doors, and you want to, everything falls under Frankie. But if you can't pay the man, he has to go. But you have to make sure that you're in a position to get the maximum out of him and not have your back against the wall and have to give him away.
Right.
Sometimes we see organizations do that, and you go, well, you have to trade him. When are you going to do it? You're going to wait till you think you get the most for him, or you're going to do it when you know you got the right package and you just make that deal?
You were part of a team in '97 that loaded up that year.
Yeah.
Won a World Series. As people here, I think have.
I didn't wear the ring though.
And remember. But you also were part of that team, that organization, for the next 3 or 4 years after they dismantled it. What was that like? I mean, it's not like this is anything new that markets have to do this, right?
It was awful. You know, we won the World Series, and all of a sudden you dismantle, and you're thinking, well, is it bad because you dismantle, or is it because I got a chance to play? Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm getting a chance to play, and I think that's what happens. Doors open for guys to play, and then you see, and then maybe you feel like the Astros. You get this talent back, and then they major league ready, and then all of a sudden you blossom, and then you still contend in a division that's going to be tough in a couple years. So Sox are going to be better. Twins are already playing ball, right? So it's going to be a tough division to win in. The Royals, I think, is going to come back too. But back to '97 and after that, it was tough to find the right chemistry. A lot of guys playing for their lives. Youngsters playing, just trying to play, not really understanding the team concept, right? And I think that was something we lacked too, because I wanted my 25 homers and 100-yard batters, but I didn't get paid. and that's the young mentality.
They didn't offer you $400 million?
They didn't say $400 million. So I didn't want to go back to AAA, but you have to then build back up from the floor, and it's always tough, and especially when you lose a player like Lindor. And I'm not saying he's going to leave. He might end up staying, but if you lose a player of that caliber, you can't replace him. They're just irreplaceable.
That '97 team that you played on, it was a super team in sense because there was talent everywhere. But you also had a manager that was able to kind of keep it together in Jim Leyland, because it's not easy to do through the course of 162 games. Terry Francona's like that kind of manager too, where the ups and the downs never seem to bother Tito.
Yeah.
He's able to ride it out and keep everybody focused on the same direction.
Yeah, man, it's ultra important. And when you have those type of personalities, it allows everything to always run smooth. I always sort of associate those guys with like flight attendants. When the flight attendants calm, cool, collect, we ain't tripping. Right, but when they start running up and down the aisles, you're like, oh, Lord of mercy, right? Like, so I think when you look at what Tito and some of these guys and Jim Leyland and what these guys brought to the table was, if I ain't tripping, then y'all shouldn't trip. Y'all just play the game. I'm gonna put you in a position to be successful. Leland used to take Devon White out of center field and go, yo, you playing center field today? I go, huh? No, I don't play center field, but I play center field, and I made myself that versatile player. When you watch Tito and you watch how he's playing his guys, you watching how guys are playing, he's not going to say, I'm giving up on you, Jose. I'm going to make you figure it out. I'm going to make you guys in the outfield figure it out. It's guys that come up and fill the spots in rotation, figure it out, right? Please cycle. You got to figure it out on the fly. That's what this game sort of lacks at times, is guys thinking that they have to change everything when they come up.
Right.
No, just play your role, stay in your lane, and help the team win every night, and do what you can do, because you can't be Superman. You ain't gonna hit 4 homers every night like you do in the minor leagues. It's just not gonna happen up here.
Right.
And if it does happen,
I never thought of Francona as Sully Sullenberger of Major League Baseball, but I kind of like it now.
Yeah, and that's the guys you always tend to remember.
Yeah.
The ones who always said, look, man, like, chill, right? Like, bring you in the office, door always open. And when I've done games, Tito's the first to sit there and have a 20-minute conversation when it really should be 10. Right, just to give you a little extra. Gonna always give you a little extra, but always, give you something to think about, something you hadn't thought about when you walk into that room. You leave with a little bit extra.
The only thing I like more than that analogy is that hat. I gotta say.
You know what? So, Hat Club is a company that's doing minor league hats, and they send out a couple hats every month, and they say, look, wear them and tell people where to go. Hatclub.com. So you go there, and they have all the minor league hats.
So which is this?
This is the Grasshoppers.
From
the Marlins.
Marlins?
Okay.
Yeah, so I have about 4 or 5 of them. Not this color, but I like the colors that they bring.
I was going to say the color
yeah,
is
man,
what makes it.
You got orange, you got red, you got blue, and those, they sort of go with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you can wear any color.
I was going to say you'll make it work.
Thank
Cliff,
you.
thanks for stopping by.
Thanks
It's
for
great to
having me.
have
It's
you here.
awesome.
Good to have you in
Appreciate it,
Cleveland.
Cliff.
Good luck in the second half.
And I'm glad you're not wearing a Marlins jersey, but it's good to have you in
know what? I
Cleveland.
had in the room, and I thought about a lot of things I had to change this weekend.
Cliff Floyd from the MLB Network, terrific player during his time in the major leagues as well. It
Thanks
was a
for
big
joining
part of
us.
that 97
See you.
Marlins team.